mean, I've heard judges talking about, this person's going to win and they've not even started the competition yet.
Welcome to another episode of Anxious Black Belt. Today, my guest is John Gardiner. If you typed karate into social media, I'm sure you've seen one of his clips coming out. He's very popular with this. Shortly, if you would like to support the channel, best way to do it is to just watch another episode, share it with your friends. If you want to support our Karate for Mental Health CIC and then grab one of the t-shirts, if you're listening to it, link down below. If you're watching on YouTube, it's card up the top. Hello, John. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
So I've been listening to your conversation with the UK Karate podcast. Shout out to them. And you've been introduced to the karate by your father. Is that correct?
Yeah, he used to train before I was born actually, and he just sort of encouraged me to get involved. Um, so I started back in 2000. Um, yeah, he was like an influence ready to get into it. And alongside my training at the dojo that I was training at, he was also kind of training me at home as well. So I can uh, give him quite a bit of credit for some of the work that I've done, or some of the maybe success that I've gained, or whatever you want to call it. He's helped me a lot.
Did you try other martial arts, or it always been karate for you?
I've done some judo for a short period, but just karate. Yeah, I've trained with different people, tried different ideas from different people and stuff. And if you see my channel, that's kind of what I'm quite about, really trying different things and taking ideas from different places, really. But yeah, karate's been my martial art, really.
So having trained it for so long, have you been ever tempted to abandon it? Or for myself, I'm doing karate for over 30 years, and I had a period of like falling out of love with it and then coming back. It's kind of always circling back to karate. But how was it for you?
I think it's normal, to be honest. I think that's a normal thing, and I've been doing 25 years now, so it's you can't love something all the time. I don't think. There's going to be peaks of motivation and times when it just drops, and you think, oh, I've had enough of this, and it's not really the karate, to be honest. It's a lot of other things that come with it that are quite demotivating, I suppose. But yeah, I think everyone has that. Everyone has times when they want to pack it in, but it's short lived. You get over it and carry
Yeah,
on.
yeah. It always comes back, isn't it? It's very persistent, the karate thing. Um,
Hmm.
so you've been quite successful on a sporting arena, especially you've been always fighting in Shotokan, right? Or did you went out into kickboxing realms and other things? Because you are the international champion as well as a UK champion, right?
Yeah, I've won. I used to compete for England for the English Federation in the WKF. So it's been well. I used to compete. I started with Shotokan, and I used to compete in more of a traditional arena with a
Hmm.
group, the ITKF, which was like Shobu and Pond style. Kumite and the kata was very traditional, if you want to call it that. I moved over to WKF because I wanted to compete for the what they call the official England team. So I did that for a from 2007 was my first time up till 2018, I think was my sort of last championship that I competed for England. But I competed in judo as well. I had a go in judo as well, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed probably. I think I enjoyed it more actually because I quite enjoyed that. But yeah,
Right, something different, right? Than you're
yeah,
used to.
it's kind of. I mean, as you know, karate is a lot of judged on opinion, right? Whether the judge thinks you're the winner or not. But judo was a little bit more. You're the winner or not. You throw them or you pin them down. It is what it is. So I quite enjoyed um, that idea of the competition, really.
So how did you manage? I can assume I never been so successful. I never been in a like country squad and representing Poland or UK. Um, I can imagine that must have been quite a pressure to stay? Because usually when I'm talking to people who are successful, it's far easier to be aspiring to get there. You're working to get there, but when you get there to stay there, it's much more pressure. How was that for you, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time as number two, and uh, and yeah, the truth is the drive is pretty greater when you're in that position, and also possibly a little bit more enjoyable because there isn't the pressure. You know, you're always
Mm.
chasing something. Not that I was number one in the world or anything. Of course I wasn't, but I mean, it's when I became sort of the selected athlete for England at least, it became more. Well, it stepped up, didn't it? You know, I then had to chase a different level, which is obviously a much higher level of the European and World Championships. But
Mhm.
again, I think I quite enjoyed the chasing more than the having actually, which is a fairly normal thing, really. You know, the journey, I suppose, isn't it? Enjoying the journey more than the actual destination.
Yeah, plus everybody likes underdog, right? Everybody supports
Yeah,
underdog here.
yeah, yeah.
Go and get it. When you're on top, it's like maybe not less support, but you're starting to get the negative voices, or why he's there all the time. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
suggesting that
sure.
it was towards you, but we see that in sports that, the underdog is always the favorite.
Yeah.
And how karate helped you or maybe had a negative impact on your mental health? Because I assume that being under pressure all the time, you have some kind of routines and um, ways to deal with it. And what's karate kind of, I don't know how to say it because it's in relation to karate pressure as well. So how that impact, did you have a positive and negative or mixed bag of emotions?
To be honest, I've always been okay to deal with the pressure. Really, I'm quite maybe I don't show much in terms of. I mean, I handle it okay. You know, it doesn't really phase me so much. A lot of things really. I just kind of take it and deal with it. Which I mean, the occasion doesn't really get to me too much, which it can do for some people. But I think in terms of mental health, it's both, isn't it? Really, it's positive. 'Cause it gives you confidence. You know, when you're achieving something and you're winning or moving up the ranks or whatever, you're winning a competition or something, of course, that is a great boost to your self-esteem. But then on the other hand, losing or not being selected or being held back and various things like this, it can be maybe detrimental. It can be a bit of both. So it is a little bit of a up and down sort of situation. But generally for me, I'm quite level with it really. It doesn't really affect me too much.
Do you think you can contribute that to such an early introduction to the karate world and your dad investing in your time and energy that kind of build the resilient person that you seems to be?
I think so. I mean, I was about 10 or 11 when I started, so possibly later than some of the kids now, you know.
Hmm.
And I think that helped actually. I think that actually helped to come into it a little bit more mature. Obviously, 10 is still young, but I mean, 10 or 11, but I mean, I think that helped. And my dad he was always giving me feedback, constructive feedback. So I was used to taking a critique, I suppose, from early on and implementing it and not sort of taking it as a dig or whatever,
Hmm.
which is important. Isn't it? We need to obviously take feedback on and get better. That's the way we get better, right? To sort of receive that feedback and work from that. So taking that from like a youngish age, then I think it's definitely helped. And then when I moved up through, I then went to train with Ishinru with Sensei Donovan, and he's a tough coach as well, and sort of receiving that as well helps. I think just being around good people has helped to kind of create that feeling. I think of sort of resilience or ability to deal with it.
So when did you decided to move into a social media space and how did you manage to make it successful? Because looking at yours followings, you've got quite a decent following.
Yeah, it's I mean I've had the idea for quite some time really. I made a couple of videos about 10 years ago and left it. It's sort of
Mhm.
I thought, there's no point sort of thing. I just left it there. Also a little bit worried about what people say about it because you're putting yourself out there. I was younger, of course, then. Um, and then I came back to it. I thought I'd chuck a few videos on there, and they did okay. And to be honest, my main motivation or the drive for doing it was to offer a better view of karate, really, to show karate in a positive light because it's quite often shown in a negative way, as you'll know. You see a lot of rubbish on there, I suppose, and gimmicky McDojo stuff they call it or whatever, if that's the right term. But and I thought if I could show a positive light on karate and show that karate is a good martial art that can stand up with other more popular arts at the moment, Muay Thai and the BJJ and all this and MMA even. That was my initial drive anyway, my motivation with it. It just kind of went from there really.
Did you done like a special I know that I am getting bombarded with offers of management courses and stuff like that. Did you done everything organically yourself, or did you use some tools to help you?
Just myself really. I mean, I think my content is relatively amateurish. I mean, the way it's edited and stuff, it's just done by myself. I've not done anything professional or anything like that. I just make my stuff. I make what I think people might enjoy. And some of the comments or the compliments I've had on it, that it's kind of straight to the point and kind of a bit raw. And I think that's maybe that's helped a little bit because some of them can be a bit, it takes forever to get into it. I just like to get in, say what I've got to say, and get out again. And that seems to appeal to some people. So it's done all right. But yeah, I've done nothing official with it. I just put it together on my phone. Just run the apps on my phone just to put it together and stick it out there.
I think at the moment people actually craving more authentic content instead of having a perfect one. I see on my videos I can't be bothered editing them properly, so I just throw it whatever it is. And the people saying, "Oh, it's nice to see that you're making mistakes and things don't work properly and you struggle with editing and stuff like that." It creates that you're an authentic person, not a content creator, if that makes sense. But how was your response to a negative comments? Because when I started in 2007, so but I never take it like professionally, just for playing. And on the beginning, I was really hurt by the negative comments. It's like partly that was my issue of a self-esteem and stuff like that. But it was like took me quite a long time to develop a thick skin and just like okay, there's always going to be somebody who hates what I do.
Yeah, it's I was a little bit similar to be honest. Like when I first started doing it, and you get in the hate comments or whatever you call it, and the problem is, say for every 100 good comments, there could be 5 bad ones, right? But the bad ones stick in your mind, don't they? Someone says, "Oh, that's great," and you think, "Oh, yeah, move on." You read it and move on, and that's the wrong way to be. Really, you need to kind of change it. I think that person's taking their time to say you're doing a good job. But it's natural, isn't it, to receive a comment and someone says, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing," or "This is not karate," or this rubbish, and it's like, and then you sort of stick to it, and then sometimes I've addressed them and that and said, "Show me yours," then sort of thing. And I've never once had someone show me theirs back. So it comes from. I mean, I'm better now. I don't care now. I couldn't care less what people say now. I mean, I've got over it, but it's. I think I have to remember where they're coming from. They're sitting at home, they're not training probably. They're sitting at home, jealous maybe, commenting because they want to bring someone else down. I mean, I've never seen someone good who are respecting karate or in the martial arts comments like that on people's videos. So they can't be good, can they? They're just people that are either jealous or have nothing else better to do. I think really, or they don't understand it. I think they don't understand it is another one. That's another.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, I never had a person showing me how to do it better or different. It's always somebody who have no videos and silly nickname. They never use their own names, right? It's always
blank,
anonymous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So how did you get into teaching people with different abilities? Because I looked on your website and I've seen that you're working a lot with schools with SEN and special education and needs. So how did you get involved in that?
So about 10 years ago, I met with a guy called Ray Sweeney, Sensei, and he did a lot of work with that sort of stuff. And I said to him, "How do I get involved?" Basically, we met up, had a chat about it. I went out to Spain with him and taught like a seminar with him. Sort of got some things set up, and he basically set me up in a few schools, taught me about how to do it, and it went from there. Really, it's been going from there for a long time. So that's how I kind of got into it. Really.
Yeah, I done my coaching with Roy. So yeah, I know him. How do you finding the challenges of adjusting the karate to suit everybody? Because you might have a group of 20 people, 20 students or 10 students, which are on a very wide spectrum of abilities, and to fit that package, what's your solutions?
Karate is like that anyway, isn't it? When we have a group class of karate, everyone's of different abilities, physically, experience levels, and all this kind of thing. And I always say in my videos and in my teaching that the karate should fit our bodies, shouldn't it? And not fit. We shouldn't fit karate. You get this kind of thing like that's the wrong shape. Your shoulders should be 10 degrees back here and your elbow, all this rubbish. The karate should fit your body. So basically, it needs to adapt individually to every person. I've got a woman who uses a wheelchair, and she is actually the two-time European bronze medalist in kata now from in the
Cool.
WKF, 2 consecutive years, and hopefully looking to go to the World Championships this year. And she trains in the class with everyone else, and we just adapt movements. If we're doing stepping, always hooking and stuff, she'll move forwards and make the punch or various things like that. It's just adapted, and that's the same really to somebody who has got limited mobility. Maybe one of the younger students throwing high, head kicks and stuff. The others will throw low kicks. It's got to fit your body, isn't it? So it's just varying levels of adapting, I think, really.
Awesome. And you working with the schools or just adults only? Wide spectrum, right? You're doing everything.
All ages, yeah. I don't teach in schools anymore. I think that COVID kind of put a stop to that. But I was teaching in a couple of SEN schools, and for like a primary and a secondary school, I was teaching there. And then now I have a dedicated class on a Saturday morning for SEN and disabilities, where people come and train that class.
Oh, awesome. That's really good. In terms of, I'm gonna go to competing. Is the WKF now getting more into including the people with the disabilities? Because you see a lot of competitions and it's always very athletic individuals, but you just said that your student, she's a European champion.
The bronze medalist, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's on the podium.
Yeah.
That's a champion, right?
Yeah.
I don't care if you go to the podium, you deserve a credit.
Oh, damn right, yeah.
And so is it that's growing now? Because they do a lot of TV transmissions and YouTube transmissions, but I don't very often see people with disabilities being highlighted.
Yeah. So they've now got categories for a range of disabilities. I think there could be more. I think it still could be progress, but it's early days. I mean, I think they trialed it when I was at the World Championships in 2014. Which is, they've had it long enough, but that was the first time they kind of did a trial, I think, where they had some events. And you're right, they don't show it on their main thing, which I don't know why that is. I mean, you get the videos of everyone else, but you don't often get a video, or at least a full performance, like a full kata or something. You don't get that kind of stuff with the athletes with disabilities and stuff. And I think that's possibly something they need to correct, really, because they're there equally competing. It's
Yeah.
So they are doing something. Yeah, it is good. There is categories now. I think the categories are quite limited. You have to fit specific criteria to get into them. And I suppose that could be broadened at some point, but it's doing a good job at the moment.
Yeah. And what was your most difficult competition? Was it the big ones? Because sometimes I'm talking to people and they say that actually the local competition was far more difficult than going out in the big championships, because you got support of people. You got that tunnel vision, nothing else matters, and you're happy just to be there. And some people take it differently. Some people get overwhelmed because I need to perform. Other ones just go like, hey, I'm here, I made it, I'm on the big scene, I do my best, and then either win or not. right? How was that for you? Which type of competition you had most pressure to be in?
Probably, yeah, probably national stuff, within the country. Probably English championships, I'd say, actually, yeah, because that's kind of like, everyone's watching that. And if you don't win or you don't get to the final, it's kind of like, and maybe this is just pressure I've got on myself. Maybe people watch this and think that, no such thing existed. But I used to think I had to be in the final, or people be kind of questioning why am I not in the final. And it's probably again just in my own mind. But I think that sort of stuff was harder. Yeah, national stuff, not low level competitions, not too much. I mean, there's pressure, of course, but generally they would be okay. But yeah, things like nationals would be probably the one really. National
Mm.
championships.
Are you as well? I know that I had a friends from Shotokan, and usually when people go into competition, then later they progress to be judges. Have you been judging at all competition or not yet?
It's doesn't interest me.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been framed once to do a judges course and done some for JSKA judging, and how more nerve-wracking than actually competing because
Yeah,
you don't want to.
yeah, it's on you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt anybody, and you have to choose somebody. And I'm not specialist in Shotokan kata and judging. It's like, well, what should I say? Like, I don't want to hurt anybody. They both done a good job. They both performed. It was only a local competition, so hopefully I didn't hurt anybody too much, and didn't have a bad judgment. But you must have experienced bad judging, right? I've been
Oh yeah,
competing
of course, yeah,
in a
of course.
knockdown, and I had the ridiculous reasons why I lost. One, I used to have a long hair, and one of the I was fighting with a guy from not from Nepal, and first time the international team came in, so they had to win. And the guy said that I've been correcting my hair too long and too many times, so we had to fight again. So like, okay, even them protested, but I lost. But you got any stories? You don't need to give the names, but the interesting would be to hear stories.
Nothing as interesting as that really, but very questionable results for sure. I think that's down to at least the ones I'm talking about. It's down to like a lack of education of the judging, I'd say.
Okay.
Um, Maybe not at national level because it has got better. They do have like a system or a route to get to the national level of judging and stuff, but especially at local competitions, you're just getting people out of anywhere a lot of the time, and
Mm.
that's because it's hard to get judged, of course, and it's it's not an easy job. And as you said, you try not to make the wrong choice, and you've got a split second to make that choice. In the kata, for example, you're putting a flag up, and it's like you've got to choose now. It is
Yeah.
difficult, and I do understand that, especially when it's mixed styles. Like, how do you even judge mixed styles together? The fundamentals are different, and it's just a hard job, but yeah, definitely some questionable things. I know I like to think I know what good karate looks like, um, and sometimes that doesn't always win.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose I don't think so. I stopped competing in like semi-professionally in 2000, and I don't think so anything changed now. But you got the cliques, right? These clubs coming with their judges, they coming, and it's
Oh, yeah,
very. I can understand that from the other side as well. It is very difficult um, to be biased. If you've got your team, you either too harsh on your team, either you prefer them, right? So it is a hard job, but I don't think so.
yeah,
Anything changed. You still got that kind of clicky feel, especially if you within a couple of organizations doing competitions together.
definitely yes. A lower level for sure. I mean, again, I'm talking mainly from WKF experience where the judges can't sit on the mats of their own associations or whatever. So that's a
Mhm.
good thing. Um, but people are known, people know each other, so it does still happen. There's still bias, there's certain. I mean, I've heard judges talking about, this person's going to win and they've not even started the competition yet. It's like,
All right.
you know, that's not really not the right way to do it. It should
Oh
be
yeah,
based on
oh
the day,
yeah.
of course, right? Like any competition.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem of karate. You mentioned before that in judo or MMA and like full contact sports, you got that definitive. You knock somebody out, nobody can tell you that you lose. But as we've seen, I think this was the one of the most hurtful things for karate, the Olympics, when the
Mm,
guy kicked the other guy and won by knockout,
Yeah,
but not the
yeah,
person who knocked them out, the other one.
yeah. That's been quite damaging outside, like externally. I think, yeah, on the world stage for people looking at karate from the outside. I mean, obviously, the reason for that is obviously that it's the rules, isn't it? You have to, the rules are no contact or light contact, but it doesn't look good.
Mm,
I think maybe a better approach would be to allow knockouts, really, wouldn't it? Make it
yeah.
like a little bit like I think there's a league. I think the UKF. I think they do like a league where it's kind of points, but it's like contact, like full contact with points. So still, I think it's still stopping and starting, like point sparring, but with full contact. And I think a knockout is a win as well. So I think
Okay.
that's possibly a better solution. You still keep that point kind of point fighting. You still keep the caginess that they want. Where it's got to be one and done kind of thing. But you're having real contact because there's so many times you see pictures from the World Championships, and again I'm talking WKF where they're punching with the fingers open and stuff to get extra reach, and also not to
Mm,
give any damage to the opponent. And it's kind of like it's not even a punch. It's a touch with a glove.
mm. Yeah,
But
well, I'm not sure about the full contact. Older I get, the less full contact I want, because I would like to stay and be able to think later.
yeah, for sure.
When you're young, you don't think about it, right? Oh, we just knock out and it's fine. I shake it up. But more I'm more towards the light contact. But I think it would be better if there would be a more explanation what's going on. I find that karate really doesn't have a clear message. It doesn't, I understand there's many faces of karate and all karate, but each specific should have a very unique selling point. So like for Shotokan and WKF, like we strive with that control, right? So you can stop the punch whenever you want to. And I think if that would be more highlighted, it would be easier to show off the skill because when I was younger in kind of Kyokushin realms, always was like, the Shotokan guys, they can't punch, can't do that. But when you actually go and train with people, that's not the case.
Yeah,
And I tried sparring on different rules, and within the realm of Shotokan and that control and that speed, it was very difficult for me. I'm sure I would lose every single fight on that, on that rule set. So I think that karate needs to have a more understanding for each other. That's the first thing, and to do a better job what qualities we want to represent in the competitions.
I
I
think
don't know.
if you look at like JKA, Shokan, Kumite, I think that's a better looking version of the point sparring to be honest. But the Shokan, it's less kind of floaty or bouncy. It's more grounded and it kind of carries the fundamentals of Shokan with it a little bit more so. With the having structure behind your punch and that kind of thing. Rather than kind of just lacking stance and all that kind of stuff. So I think JKA style Kumite is a good look for Shokan if you're looking at that sort of stuff. If you're talking about can they punch or not, because you can feel it through the screen almost. There is some sort of impact there, but it's still controlled as well.
Mhm.
There's some older videos of somebody else, Kagawa Sensei and that, but I'm talking more modern as well, like the recent JK World Championships, that kind of stuff is good to look at really.
Mm. You said that you competing for long time. So you've seen the evolution. I see it kind of on the outside, and it's one thing that really annoys me about the WKF, kind of free things. I see that in other sports as well, is that the showmanship. And you must have seen the evolution because when I look in the old videos, nobody's jumping around, celebrating before a score is given, walking away from the judges, getting that time to recover, and arguing with the judges. When I was competing, it was like judge said something, you just shut up and walk away, right? You can
Yeah,
put
yeah,
the complaint later, but you don't argue on a match because it's just bad look for karate overall.
yeah.
How did you see that evolution?
I think when I came into it, it was already going that way to be honest. When I moved from like traditional, I say traditional, classic Shotokan to like the WKF. And my upbringing in karate was with that sort of Shotokan style. Um, so it's a little bit odd to me as well to see all that. I don't like that sort of thing as well. The
Mm.
celebrating early, or, turning yourself away from the opponent once you've scored a point or a point you think you've scored. Um, it goes against the dojo kind of etiquette, doesn't it? I think that we're
Yeah.
meant to have. And then what you find then is you go to dojos that are trainers purely for sport, and that dojo etiquette is a little bit lacking in the dojo now as well. It's just kind of almost like just a pure sport and not the dojo really. I mean, I don't know if you could call it a dojo anymore. It's more of just a sort of a gym, I suppose, or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think I saw one of your videos talking about your things you don't like in the competitions, and yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree with all of them really.
But I see the same thing in Olympic wrestling. I've been involved in Olympic coaching in Poland for wrestling, and it's the same. It's not so much celebrating wins, but that disrespectful mannerism of judges. Judge talking to you, and you just walk around and have a break, and then when you're ready, you come back to fight, right? Which I think is totally wrong, and that's why I don't watch like MMA. I only watch the fight. I don't watch the pre-MMA
Yeah,
and
yeah.
after. I just can't stand it. For me, martial arts should be, about respect. You're coming in, do the job, bow out, go out, be humble. But
I wonder,
that's what people love, so that's what the money makes. So
I wonder if the kind of rise in MMA and all that drama that goes with it now has had an effect on it. Because a lot of kids are seeing that and thinking that's the way to be. Um, I don't know if that's carried over. I'm not sure really, but it's kind of it's almost like the thing to do, isn't it? To sort of sell the fight, but there's no selling tickets in the karate. It's just karate. You go and do your competition, go home. But
yeah, but
I can't help but think it's a bit of an influence, to be honest.
I'm sure it is, and you see that in football and other sports, that kids want to be celebrities, right? If I'm a bad boy like McGregor, I get lots of money. So
Yeah,
why should I be being humble when I can had a shortcut, be outrageous, get myself visible? I don't have very much skills, but if I get a contract, I earn lots of money, I retired, I'm famous, I get money from here, money from there. Why should you work hard, right?
yeah.
What
The only thing is, there's
what
no
do
money in karate, right?
well,
So
I don't know
in competition
if
karate, anyway.
yeah, but you can make yourself famous and be invited to different organization and
Yeah,
different
yeah,
stuff and have money from sponsors and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm not in that position. So, what part of karate is the most enjoyable for you? Is it kata or is it kumite or is it just the combinations or?
it changes all the time. It used to be kata for a long time. It's still kata now to some extent. Do you know what? I like it all. I like all kind of things, and I like the variety of it. I'm enjoying kumite quite a lot more.
Mhm.
Um, I'm liking breaking katas in down and into the applications or or my applications. Movements that are inspired by the kata at least. I quite enjoy doing that sort of thing and giving the kata some life rather than just being making shapes and making a performance. Making it a little bit more realistic. Uh, I kind of like all of it really. I couldn't really give an answer as such. It,
Well,
I mean, it depends on the day.
yeah, it changes as well. I'm getting older and older now, so it changes and drifts it towards more, at least for me, for longevity and stuff. And like you said, I enjoy everything, but now I'm starting more appreciate like Tai Chi style karate. When I was like, wow, that's too slow, I can't do it. And now it's like finding myself just grab me a bonsai tree, cup of tea, Tai Chi, and a Volvo, and I'm there.
Yeah, do you know what? I think there's a lot of benefit in going slower as well. That's something I've found as well. When I was younger, I could be crashing about in the dojo, as hard and fast as I could all the time. But there's definitely a lot of value to slowing down a bit and
Mm,
thinking about what you're doing really. Be a bit more present in the technique, I suppose, rather than just sort of smashing about and throwing the highest kicks you can and being as fast as you can and cutting everything short, and having no sort of meaning to it. So yeah, I definitely
mm.
appreciate that kind of that different approach now, for sure.
Cool. I've noticed that you are starting to have more and more seminars you teach around. How are you
Yeah.
finding that?
I like it. Yeah, I enjoy that. That's really good. I'm uh, I'm actually going out to Poland in September to be teaching. So, are you? You said you coach in Poland as well, right?
I used to now. I live here
Okay.
17 years, 18 years now, nearly. I have been in Poland training for. I go to Poland to Warsaw to train sometimes, but no, mostly here. But are you going to the Japanese village
I
or
didn't know
the
there was
because
one, to be honest.
in
Where is
in
that?
Poland the Shotokan guys replicated a Japanese village. You've got huts, you've got the training halls. It's for Polish. I think it's JKA. I don't know. It's too many organizations, but the guy done a magnificent work. I think he's got the 4 or 5 dojos in there. I drop you later a picture of it, and guys, I put it
Yeah.
as well in the video because it's amazing. They spent millions. They had the funding from Polish government, and it's like a cultural center. It looks like Japan. It's just amazing.
Which city? Where is that? Which city is that in?
Uh, Let me grab the phone. Keep talking. For
So
which
yeah,
organization?
the seminars. Yeah. Um, we can come to this later if you want to talk about it later.
Well, which part of Poland you going?
Warsaw.
Warsaw. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, with whom am I actually know the person? Uh, Karate Poland.
Who's
Poland.
Pavel?
Uh, 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 um. So dojo in Poland, the world's largest center of Japanese martial arts. But where it is? Directions. Poland. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna be editing this, I think. But come on, phone, you can do it. Well, I send you later.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't find it
We can
now.
look at that later on. Yeah.
It's live for you, right? You want to find something, then you cannot find it.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
the seminars, yeah. I, I really enjoy the seminars, to be honest. It's good to meet different people, see different. Do you know, I learn as much from seminars as well, to be honest, as I'm giving, because I get to see different ways people are doing things, and I always have a discussion with, often have a discussion with the instructors of the club. Sometimes I see things that I've not seen before, and I think I'll take that. I quite like that. Um, yeah, it's good. I really enjoy it. It's been busy. It's been about 2 to 3 seminars a month for the whole year so far, so it's been very full on.
oh,
Next one's in Norway, so I like that. I did that last year. It was really nice trip.
yeah, I like no. I've been actually teaching last. Was it this year? Last year, I think. Oh, this year in January or February, I was in Norway as well, swimming in the fjords. That was my challenge. I like to challenge myself to do uncomfortable things. So
I
minus
bet that's
seven.
cold as well, right?
Yeah, I was very short swim, but it was. I'm finding that the people there are super nice, and
Yeah,
organization is very nice. Everything is like done how you expected it.
they
And
looked after they looked after me really well, so it's really a really nice
I,
trip. Yeah,
I are you teaching within the kind of Shotokan WKF groups, or you branching out and going to different
everywhere,
styles?
anywhere, anyone that wants me, really, anyone that books me. Um, yeah, all over the place. This group in Norway is actually with I believe they're with the WTKO. They're a
Okay.
Sugarcane group, yeah. Um, but yeah, all over the place, really. Anywhere.
So what are your plans? Are you gonna be carry on competing, or are you retired competitor, or are you still competing?
No, I finished competing in 2018. I got my wife and my little girl was born, and I just couldn't be so selfish anymore because competing costs a lot of money.
Hmm.
And I just thought going away for a week at a time, competing and spending probably close to £1,000 at a time, I'd rather just go on holiday, spend time with them.
Yeah.
And I've done enough of it. It is what it is. For me, karate's never been all about competition. You know, some people it's everything, but for me, it's a period of time, and you know, it's just move on. The time was done, and that was it. Really, I thought I could spend more time doing what I want to do and enjoy my karate for myself, um, and you know, be a bit less selfish with my what I'm doing.
Mm. Is the teaching karate your full-time job, or are you doing that on as a side hustle?
Yeah, no, that's my job. Yeah,
Cool. So how you make it work? Um,
I do quite a few things really around it. So I mean, I teach my club, my dojo.
mhm,
Is my main thing. Then I have people having one-to-one sessions. I do some personal training type stuff in my gym here at home.
mhm.
I train obviously the seminars. I do various different contracts, different things, um, all kinds of stuff really, just different bits and pieces that all come under karate.
Cool. That's really nice. I love when people uh, are succeeding. You know, myself, it was my family like yourself. I had a full-time job, but we had our child. My wife's got a really good job, so I decided to quit and kind of focus on personal training and stuff like that, where I can fit around the family, right? So I'm a mainly driver for my kids. They need to go to
Mhm.
the clubs. I'm
Yeah,
driving them, and everything goes teaching around those kind of blocks of time. So it's nice to see that more and more people are able to do their passion as a job and fitting around the family. And I love what you said that you rather spend £1,000 on a holiday than on competition. This is really, really, really
sure. Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
And
It's just some things are a little more important, you know, than maybe chasing the medal or something. It is what it is.
plus, you said that it costs a lot of money, but it costs a lot of time. When you're preparing
Yeah.
for the competition, like you said, you have to be very selfish and be out there and do that competition and preparation for competition and stuff. Could you shed the light on what was your routine when you've been preparing for combination? How did your week look like?
Yeah, so I've always been heavily into strength training alongside it.
Mhm.
So that's kind of almost stayed the same to me. I would be my karate training would be like my specific competition karate training would probably be 4 times a week,
Mhm.
sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on where we're at in terms of the sort of cycle of competition. My strength training would be consistent all the way through. So look, probably just trying to think about a number of hours a week, probably something like 14,
Mhm.
12, 14 maybe. Some of the karate would be more sort of slower, like technical type stuff,
Mhm.
because you can't be going full on all the time. And that's something I've learned later on as well, really, that rest is important, as important. You know, I used to think that if I had a day off, someone else was going to get ahead, you know.
Yeah.
But now I realise that it's important to have those days off, and recover. But yeah, it was probably an equal balance of strength training and karate training, which is a bit unusual, I think, because a lot of people don't do that sort of stuff, or they tend to maybe stick one session a week in the gym or something. But for me, it was both important, and I just purely because I just enjoyed it. Really, it wasn't necessarily because it made
Mm.
me a lot better or anything. I mean, I think it did, but I love them both equally, really. So I thought I'd just do them both.
Yeah, I am amazed how many karateka I speak to rely only on karate training to get fit. No, it's not the right word, but to excel.
Mhm.
I think every other sports, even the Formula One guys, spending certain amount of time in the gym, strengthening the neck, the turning. And in
Yeah,
karate, it's like, I just do a couple kata, I spar some time, and I'll be fine.
even things like golf, you know, like things
Yeah,
you think that you wouldn't, you know, all of it, everything, every sport is improved by introducing strength training, you know, performance training or whatever. But it's been something I've been criticised quite a lot again online. You know, oh, you're too muscular or whatever, you know, for karate and all that. I mean, what does that even mean? How can you be too muscular for anything? I, I mean, if you look at the videos, I'm throwing the kicks, I'm doing the technique, so I can't be right. I'm doing it, so it's. But yeah, I think a strong body does everything better. you know,
Yeah,
really.
you're the second person who I know who been criticized for that. You're too muscular. That's not traditional because you're showing your muscles and stuff like. Oh, fuck off! Would you?
Someone said to me that I was disrespectful to the art because I had a little bit of my physique shown, right? And I thought I've seen pictures of Yahara Sensei and some of these other Japanese with no tops on, you know, and back in
Yeah,
Okinawa and all that.
you open a dynamic karate book and you've got a guy in pants kicking,
I
right?
know.
It's just
It's
like you know.
and what was it? I saw one was quoting about how it's disrespectful to not do it in a karate gi and all this. And I'm thinking, it's like, what is going on? You know, I'm just training. I was actually in a hotel gym in the Canary Islands doing some karate, some kicks and stuff. And he was like, oh, you're disrespectful because you're not wearing a gi. I'm not going to take karate gi on holiday, you know. I'm just throwing some kicks.
Yeah.
It's not karate if you're not wearing a karate gi or something like that. But you know, it's
Yeah,
just
well,
crazy, you know?
people forget that the karate only introduced the gi in like 30s, 1930s. So it's not that traditional at all. But people just looking for something to complain about. It's like you said, they're just jealous, right? They see a young guy who is very well built, got that physique, can kick, can do stuff. When I'm watching your kicking, I'm so jealous because I can't kick for shit. My legs are not designed to be to kick. But then I don't have a feel that, oh, this John is disrespectful because he's kicking too high, he's too strong. I can't do it. So, but I think people just love to go around and kind of criticize everybody for no reason now. And I think like Mike Tyson said, I think it was Mike Tyson said that if you've been face to face, you wouldn't say that, wouldn't you? Because you're gonna get smacked.
I think it's like when I look at anything on the internet, you know, I look at sort of bodybuilding videos and everything. People are always criticizing. You know, it's like the response is to go to negative first, isn't it? You know, they look at it and say, oh
Mm.
no, that's good, but he's on this, you know, and you wouldn't get it without using steroids or whatever this kind of stuff on the bodybuilding. It's like you wouldn't look like that if you took them anyway. You know,
Yeah.
it's always criticism is the first thing. You look at videos of women and that, oh yeah, she's okay, but she's too this and too that. I mean, it's it's constantly criticizing people from a position where they've got no position to be criticizing. You know, you look at their
Mm.
profiles and they're kind of 7 stone overweight and that. What are they? How can they be saying that? You know, take a look in the mirror
Yeah.
first before you start talking about other people. You know.
Yeah, it is a lot of that. It's kind of both sides. People getting criticized, oh, you're too fat, or you're too too muscular, or too fit, and stuff like that. It's just I just stay away from it. Really, I just go like, okay, well, not a
Mhm.
problem. You can comment whatever you want. I'm not in danger to be too physically impressive, so I'm a short guy, and I like my sweets. So
No, it's just the internet, and I think it's kind of just accepted that people just want to hate on everything really, negativity, and
hmm,
it comes from a position of weakness really. I think, like I said earlier, people who are achieving or doing good things don't do that sort of stuff, so you can kind of you know dismiss them really as not valuable comments because they're not really contributing anything to your conversation and your
hmm.
comments, and their opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I think it's better best to leave them alone. I've got two ways to approach to it. It depends on the day. My wife usually says just leave them alone, don't get involved. But I'm thinking, if I don't do something, then they're just gonna carry on and gonna impact next person badly, right? So I'm kind of in my kind of friends group. I'm known for a engaging with trolls. I engaged with trolls and I had like 5 years of really huge engagement, which is good for views because those when the trolls start commenting, views go higher, right? But
Yeah,
happy to say, I always manage them to give up. It's never me. I'm very polite. My rules are I'm very polite. I don't use swear words, but I do a lot of sarcastic and well, just trying to be funny. And always when I invite them to our Karate for Mental Health program, they give up.
of course, yeah, of course. I've done the same. I've done both. Sometimes I think like people I see in these comments, and if I'm not addressing them, sometimes I think that they can be influenced in that way as well. Like
Mm.
say some of my students or something could see them, and someone's going, "Oh, you're doing this all wrong." And it's like sometimes I think I need to, give my side. I don't always do
Yeah,
it. Um, Sometimes I think people need to be told that not everything is how you think it is, And that's sometimes my answer, really. The way that you do it in your dojo is not how everyone does it. There's many
yeah,
ways to do certain things, so it's not right and it's not wrong. It's just what I'm doing, and I don't ever claim that what I'm doing is the only way. And then on other occasions, just leave them, or even just delete them. Sometimes just delete them, innit? So they don't even
yeah,
they don't even get to be seen. So that's what they're
yeah.
after, innit?
Yeah. Well, I have to say that once or twice I had people actually apologizing, which was
Mm.
interesting.
It's
Oh,
rare,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I had a bad day, and I think
Oh
this
yeah,
is
I've had
the
a few,
ref.
it's rare
Yeah,
though, isn't it? Right? Only on a
yeah,
few occasions, yeah. But it's yeah, like I said, right, almost at the start of this conversation, I think really I think the best thing is to actually engage more with the positive comments to sort of to create a more positive comment section actually, because if people see that you're responding to good comments, I think they may be more encouraged to write good comments instead of,
mm,
because if you only respond to the bad comments, then people think, how can I get him to respond to me? I'll leave a bad comment, if
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
Well,
their
no,
goal is, isn't it?
yeah,
So
for sure. I
it's
respond to respond to everybody, but since I started this replying to trolls in a positive manner and making it kind of entertaining for other people, I have zero trolls.
yeah.
Literally, they just leave me alone. It's like they're sensing that I'm waiting for it. So I usually post to my friends, if you've got a troll, send them to me, please. I'm being bored now.
I'll tell
So
you what, I'll send you some of mine. You'll have some work.
yeah, that'd be lovely. Um, all right, John. Thank you for your time. I know that it's summer. You've got your child. I've got two there playing games, waiting for me to finish so we can go to a playground. Thank you for your time,
Thank you
and
very
I
much.
wish you all the best on the seminar front. And hope your club gonna grow and social media gonna be super busy.
Thank you very much for having me.